I recognize what you say about this game is a speech on Stanley Parable. Pair. I was considering how to begin this video, and just listening to the audio for a few seconds, I thought, oh, I'd have it fade in for a few, and then... Anyway, I've opened up this game once, and that will give me an achievement. But if you also disable it, undo that, it'll take your achievement away. This might be a part of the game. This might be a fake loading screen. So this is a meta game. And saying those two words out loud are fun. Games are fun. Anyway, I hope I enjoy. This was sent to me by a friend a long while ago. Talking during the loading. It's like me saying words for the point in which there is no experience to be had.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Whenever he felt ready to move. Stanley doesn't even have a mouse. Maybe he has a hamster at home. I was already standing. Stan Lee. Rip. Getting a control of the controls.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Co-workers. Sorry about that one. I don't know what I wasn't making fun of him. And by me saying that, that's not me saying that I'm making fun of... I think sometimes I just hear something and I like repeating it back. I hate Mondays. I didn't even hear that, I just read it in my head. So then I heard it out loud. This is like
Stanley
the back
came to a
rooms.
set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
think I need a repeat of the dialogue. Because I was speaking, I missed the exact first, like, Stanley, when he came to work, he came in from the left.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Already my commentary is getting in the way of the game, which I don't love. I'm going to try just experience this a little bit more.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
It's a DIY kind of game at first. It's funny. At first? What do I mean by that? At first? At always?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Look at me just like looking at surfaces like, hey, look at why am I not looking at this? Why am I not getting right to where they're at? There's probably not another liminal AI kind of thing in this game. Another quote-unquote person.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I tried jumping. This was my first jump.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
I feel like I'm a part of the movie Stranger Than Fiction. Who is narrating this? Stanley's other mind?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You take a staircase to go to some boss's office? Video game? And what a specific, like, everything.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Yeah.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
I guess I'll just randomly guess.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Oh, his cat's name was 2845. Maybe 2845 will be the code.
2845.
Was it 5 or was it 6? Maybe
Yet
7.
incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
And
He
that
stepped
was
into the newly opened passageway.
this. I never played the game after this room. That was a look at my humor. I kind of jived there. Look at me just like already, like I like this game already, and the fact that it's made me use the word specific makes me think that there's a yeah, let's just have a talk in the elevator. There's something here. There's something here, Chaz.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I wasn't looking around. I mean, I think if I was actually in that elevator, I would have been, like, looking out more. Or less. I'm only going to do this
straight ahead through the
for
large
45
door that read
minutes.
Mind control facility.
So I was just putting a timer on. I forgot to do that when I began. And what a specific choice here. Hey, escape or play this for only 45 minutes. What the I'm gonna go this way, man. I enjoy the sentiment of the word escape. I still can. No, can't.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
It's like the Mr. Incredibles room. Terminated. Are all my employees terminated? Who's this guy that's speaking to me? I get it, man. Funny.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of
Movie
them,
pictures.
eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Life's a bunch of license plates. I was 427? I was.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Also, this is a blind Let's Play. I haven't touched this before.
No. He refused
Yes.
to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I had a memory of Minecraft the other day. Great talk. Thanks for watching. I will save. I'll do the best I can here. I think what's great about this is, you know,
When
after
at last
multiple...
he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible...
multiple viewings of this, I will get multiple perspectives of it.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Just thinking about Jesse Eisenberg at this moment. I was also considering if that was going to be the end of the game. It's not. You know, it's not. Does it show the... Why would it... But this... Why? You know, it's better not to bring your philosophy into this game, because of course they thought of all the who, what, where, when, whenabouts, whereabouts.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh,
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? Well, shall I confound his responsibility? In the reason for that? No. This couldn't go any makes about it. The vision now says himself is waste. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I'd be happy forever. I would be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed. Then days. And years gone by. He don't have the ability to tell. But one thing he knew for sure beyond any doubt was that he waited long enough. The answers would come. Eventually someday they would arrive. Soon. Then somehow this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
I thought for a second there that was funny because I started my next quote-unquote life up. I was like, oh, I'm going to do the loop thing. I was going to fill office size, and then I accidentally closed the door.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
At least I checked.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, it was narrating. It was narrating, yes, Chaz. Good job. Don't finish your sentence.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I'm just pressing the E button, by the way. I didn't realize that does that. It's good fun, I guess. Everyone is unique. You, most of all. You!
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, maybe next time. Maybe never. I thought this staircase was gonna keep going. Like I activated some sort of room that just was a new room. Let me just code this teleprompter toilet. Remember playing my summer car, and there wasn't a mirror in the bathroom. I don't know why I'm spending so much time in the bathroom. Sometimes you just need a little bit longer than people expect you. A little breather or something. Take in your surroundings. I don't know why I'm playing like patty cake, as if I could... Well, this time I'll choose check out everything I didn't check out before they check me out and say some things through the narration and say, hey, back to Stanley's office, new day. What? Guess we're going up. Guess we're going down. Yeah, they left their notepads and information here. It's a bumpy elevator. Am I just shaking? This game is an experiment. I'm sure I could have stayed in that elevator for as long as I felt. As long as
Stepping into
I...
his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
45.
Of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
You know, I could have kept a lot of this information to myself. Could have just played this game by myself.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
But playing this the second time, what is this, my fourth life?
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the
different
keypad,
dialogue
Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Is...
Amazing. He stepped
I'm like
into the
noticing
newly opened
different words a little bit more prominently than last time. Unless the dialogue's changed already. It is definitely out loud me speaking, but... commentary on a commentary. I like this game. No. Kind of reminds me of, like, Portal.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Some of it.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yeah, but how does Stanley know that? Like, Stanley heard that. Stanley heard that. Stanley stopped. Stanley is not me. And then you put the word, like, mind control. Like, oh, now I'm just gonna go to the mind control facility. Let's at least just, like, see what this game has to to behold. To see is not to... Markiplier here. Let's check out this area.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
I knew this was the brother location. I knew...
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
How graceful.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Try jumping again. So did I even, like, reach an ending before? Because this seems as if this is an ending. Because I didn't quite see credits beforehand. But I guess this one's a little bit more, like, specific. You know, I chose a sort of death route, so it's like, you chose the death ending. Yep, that's a clock. Freedom ending. Am I about to get spoiled? I don't know if I want to go in all of these rooms for like an ending I haven't seen yet. The game is now paused. I don't think I've paused it yet. In technical forms, I haven't paused the game since, you know. Sorry. Sometimes something comes out of me. What's this? I wonder what's going to... What's this? Like the showcase here of this area. But to get, like...
Stanley pushed the orange lever.
You just stand in specific points in the room and you can hear...
Stanley pushed the number 6.
Well, I'm sure there's a few more. Why am I sure? Well, where do I get the thought that I'm sure there's more endings? This could potentially just be 2 endings of a game. But I don't even want to like look at all of these things and read all of them yet. I guess I like to play a game like pretty blind. And then after I'm finished the recording, may not be right away, but I tend to find out more about it.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape.
What?
Press quit.
Wow.
There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Don't. Unless I get stuck in a loop where I'm in that death trap, then I'll quit, but... Or... or do I have to? This... Do you see? Sandake. No!
Stanley simply couldn't.
Couldn't help but press the E button. Oh, and I wanted to live the world that had all the papers on the ground. When will the sentence ever exist otherwise in a video-like game? I want all the papers on the... And how was I to even know, like, that was gonna... Like, that hallway was gonna be not different than the others?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Roleplay. Hey, we're going to a meeting.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
That made me
Stanley
chuckle.
came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on down to this
Yet
journey.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase,
I
Stanley walked
suppose-
upstairs to his boss's office.
If you watch this far into the video, then you are the epic. This is a video series idea that I had for many, many years called Wildcard, in which I try out a game for 45 minutes. Pretty blindly, and thanks to the people who sent me this game. This one was sent to be
But
by
Stanley
Michael.
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't
Will
asked
this
himself
guy
sooner.
just keep giving me
Why
questions?
is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.